Tetris?
Tetris.
Tetris. Tetris.
Tetris.
It's the perfect game. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I played for 5 minutes. I still see falling blocks in my dreams. It's poetry, art, and math all working in magical synchronicity. It's the perfect game. Tetris?
Tetris.
Tetris. Tetris.
Tetris. I don't get it.
It's a combination of tetra, Greek for four, and tennis.
Tennis.
The Russian inventor, he likes tennis.
This game isn't just addictive, it stays with you. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Hank, only 10 other people in the world have seen what you're about to see. It's called the Game Boy.
Package it with Tetris.
Can you get us the rights?
The Soviet Union had worldwide rights. Nothing gets out easily.
I'm gonna go to Moscow.
You're walking into a country
that still considers America enemy numero uno.
Okie dokie.
You sure you don't have to talk to your wife about this first?
Pioneers have to bet the house to win.
But not literally.
Listen. Have you ever heard our apartment this quiet before?
This is the inventor of Tetris.
Your game is brilliant. I'm gonna make you a millionaire.
Mr. Hodges, have you ever negotiated with the Soviets?
We're here for Tetris. What do you say? I don't speak Russian.
The most powerful man in Communist Party is watching you and your family.
Do you know where your husband is?
What the hell is going on?
The world is changing, and Soviet Union will not be left behind.
You want to play with the big boys? This is how the world works.
Where is my money?
This is insane.
We can't protect you.
Sometimes you gotta forget the rules. This is criminal. The Soviet Union is about to implode. They're lying. Everybody's lying.
Go home! The cavalry is coming.
We don't have time.
I have a plan.
Oh, come on. You guys are the kings of cliffhangers.
Not too bad.
Yeah, no, you can see I'm actually in pretty bad state here.
No.
I think I can get out of this. I just need one big long block. One big long block. Yes, I've got it. Yes. Yeah. Oh.
That's fine.
Oh, is there anything? Oh, I need a cigarette.
Is there anything better? You're still playing.
It's another one.
It's a long block.
Yes.
Oh my god, no, down that side.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. There we go. I'll just get out of the way. Yes, it's looking at it. One after another.
Yeah,
So
put
to
down.
anyone who's just listening to the
Slam it
podcast,
down
you have
fast.
got no fucking clue what we're talking about.
Yes, they do. They can hear the music. They know what's going on.
Oh, good. Okay, well, yes. Now we're just going to pull back the curtain and play. I'm not actually playing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
They don't need to know that one. Oh, yeah.
No.
This podcast is just going to be hours and hours of this music until it gets so far embedded into your brain again, you'll hate us. So, yeah, it's just us. Anyway, all right. Okay, I'll let it go now. But it's there.
I do love it. Does anyone know the name of this song?
Russian Oligarch 3? It's something by
Literally,
Tchaikovsky.
only because I have Wikipedia over right
It's
here.
something by Tchaikovsky, I swear.
It's Korobainisky.
What?
Korobainisky.
Sure,
Korobainiki, sorry.
you know Russian?
Yes, totally. So that is and it was not on the original version of the game.
Oh,
In fact, the original version of Tetris didn't have music.
right. I feel like
So-
because they were like, well, of course it didn't have music. It just had the music of the keys being pressed as you move the things around. That great old clickety clack, just like Dungeons and Dragons dice.
Oh, yes.
Does that make sense?
It was a long bow, but I'll let you draw it.
Sure. Fuck, why not? Last time I remember doing a show was Dungeons and Dragons, wasn't it? Or do we do one in between?
No, there was another video game in between.
Oh, that's right. Marketing opportunity 3.
Yes, yes. Yes, the shared
Nintendo
universe of
Palooza.
Nintendo Palooza. Yes, it is Nintendo. It's a Nintendo last week and a Nintendo this week.
holy shit. Yeah. So how are we all? Welcome to the periodic table of awesome. I'm occasionally, just to distract everybody, I'm just going to move out of the way so that you can see the screen playing Tetris.
Yeah.
And nobody. Yes, look at it. Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Every time you lean back, I feel like I've got to raise the music back just up again. So
Okay,
so if you move,
There
it's
we
like, yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, look, he's another big long one. Yeah, it's very nice.
It's very
Matchy
nice.
match.
That's not
What's
Russian.
the long one called, Quinny?
Hero. Yes, because when he drops down, it's like a hero has arrived, and then a hero comes along. I don't know. That's so apparently, as we said in the Instagram that just went out an hour before the show, the Tetris blocks have names. Now, what was it that you told me, Jill?
Oh, I told you.
Oh, was it you, Peter? Sorry.
that was actually a joke. That was
Ah.
a joke that somebody played.
Oh.
Very well executed joke. But,
Oh.
you know, jokes are
My
fun.
favorite name was Orange Ricky, though.
I
And
know.
I'm going to call it that from now on.
Yeah, absolutely. Smash Block, Orange Ricky, Rhode Island Z.
These are all.
Do you like my fun personality quirk where you tell me something fun and I immediately fact check you?
Yeah. I like that all of
Like
these.
2 seconds later, no, joke, not fun.
I love
Yeah.
that all of those names sound like cocktails.
Yeah.
I love an
I'll
orange
have a
Ricky.
Smash
Thank you.
Block.
Yeah, the smash block.
Yeah. Interesting thing and totally weird thing. I posted this on Instagram the other day. Just after watching this film, I remembered I'd been going through my mother's house, helping her basically move all of her stuff out to sell the house. And in the bottom of one of the cupboards, I found a box of a little white plastic box called tetrominoes. Now, the weird thing about it is the tetrominoes are quite literally the shapes from Tetris. A tetromino is basically anything that is made up of square blocks, and tetra being 4 means 4 square blocks. But I found this little thing, and it was from I couldn't find the name of the company that made it, but it was made in 1982. So before the game was made.
Right.
And we've lost Jill.
Oh, what?
No.
Oh, no.
No,
No, sorry, no. We haven't.
Have we,
Your
Quinny?
mouth moved and no sound came out.
Have we lost Jill?
She didn't react
No.
audibly enough for you.
Oh no! I just heard the mouth move and no sound happened.
You were like just because you were in control for 1 week last week, and now you're just like, no, I know what's going on here. We've lost Jill. Jill, are you out there?
I'm not the problem. It's the
Jill.
children. who are wrong.
Anyway, back to looking at Tetris.
Yes.
Oh, this is a danger now.
Oh, look at that! That's dangerous
Oh,
shit right
far
there.
out.
Oh, that was pretty good. I like that. That was effective. Oh, that was a strange choice. Anyway,
Jesus.
uh,
What are you talking about?
I've-
Tetris movie.
yes, which is actually weirdly exciting.
Again, I know I was not expecting this, and I kind of got to I doff my cap, as it were, to Apple, and again, just coming out with something that's like, that sounds stupid. It's like, wow, that was great.
Yep.
It's not until they present a trailer to me that I'm like, yeah, I guess I have never wondered how that happened, but I'd be interested to find out.
It's got that guy from that movie where he was a spy. Sure.
Yeah. It's a Toby Jones movie, not a Noby Jones movie. That's very exciting.
This has some.
Yeah. Well, that's any movie that you have where Toby Jones isn't in it.
Oh, fuck. Jesus.
It's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Someone.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of movies.
It's a lot of movies, and there are only a limited number of Toby Jones films. But you know,
It's just like that's gonna make.
I like the Karina's like synopsis, please, for fuck's sake.
Wow, she's like moving us on already.
Oh, you've
sorry,
lost me.
Karina.
Synopsis, please. Great. So, would anyone like Jill, Peter, anyone else do the synopsis, please, for the love of God? Because we all know where this is going, don't we?
Think quickly, and then I'll read it.
quick.
Yeah, let me. I'll copy it.
No.
and paste it to you.
Let him have his fun.
No. Wow. Ouch.
Oh, you've been practicing all
Oh.
day. I heard you just walking around.
Yeah, well, you
going-
heard me just practicing my shitty Russian accent.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
you want Quinny's shitty Russian accent or do you want Jill's shitty Russian accent?
I want Jill's shitty Russian accent. Here, I'll look. There you go. I have now pasted into our little chat.
Oh, spasibo.
Oh, see, look at it
Spasibo.
go.
Okay, here we go. You ready? Ooh,
Oh,
look
wait,
at
wait,
it.
wait, wait. Hang on. Look,
It's-
I've got to get
it's
the
a-
music up the bottom. Come on. Let's just wait for the people to
What?
get the music. There we go. Do we have
the
music?
music.
Of course we have.
Now, do we only have type A or can we get some type B playing? Okay, here we go. An enterprising game developer risks everything in race to outmaneuver duplicitous insider to negotiate a deal with Soviet Union bureaucrat. There's no punctuation in this. For the international licensing rights to what would eventually become one of the most recognizable and widely played games in losing it history. Very nice, my wife.
There were hints of Austrian in there.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
I
not a
love
good
it.
accent. It's
I'm just so happy that in that synopsis they wrote very nice, my wife.
See, it's not so easy, is it? It's doing shit accents.
Oh dear, perfect.
I'm not theatrically trained. When I didn't go to Juilliard.
Fuck, neither did I. I went to Launceston.
Yeah, Juilliard
Oh.
Street in Launceston.
Yeah,
Very good.
yes, in Launceston. That's the one. Oh,
dear.
congratulations.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you, Jill. That was everything and more.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was all we
may need
wanted.
to just wipe away some tears. I have been usurped. I am no longer needed here in this here podcast.
No,
Look,
no,
I
you
can't
aren't.
do Scottish. You're always here for Scottish.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. Thank Christ for that.
Oh, dear.
Ah,
Sure.
exactly, Karina. Cultural learnings make benefit great nation of Kazakhstan.
Of Russia stuff. Anyway, no. Like, okay.
What are we talking about? Tetris.
Who has played Tetris? Me. Yes, everyone's got
Not
your hand up.
everyone.
Put your hand up in the chat if you've never played Tetris. Come on. Like, honestly, this is one of those
We
ones we
won't
just
mock you, we promise.
yeah, we just out yourself. It's like, I never played Tetris, even though it's literally free on every Apple Mac.
Is it?
Wait.
Did you not know this? I'm going to put that
What?
link in. Yeah, you can play it in the terminal. Like in terminal, there's a thing. Like in the programming language, you can play Tetris.
Oh my god.
Yeah, whatever.
No.
Sure. You can literally type it into Google and find somewhere to play Tetris. It's not hard.
As marketing for this film, they actually produced a version of the Tetris that Alexei created. So the one using the ASCII.
Yeah. The parentheses.
Yeah, so you can actually play that exact version on Facebook, I think it is.
Yeah, or you can just do that thing because the website tetris.com, you can go there and play it for free.
Of course.
Yes.
Exactly.
Do we love our Tetris?
Oh.
Oh fuck yeah! I always like yes, and I did that with the Game Boy, and I went to a friend's birthday party, and he had a Game Boy, and I ran the batteries out of it, and was up till dawn. Everyone else went to sleep, and I'm there going, no more Tetris.
And like they said in the trailer, you definitely still see blocks falling.
And hear the music.
Long after you've played the game.
Yep.
Interestingly, I was reading about that. That is actually a part of the game that has been well documented as an effect of playing it. That lots of people claim to keep seeing the falling blocks after they've stopped playing. It is a weird, particularly specific thing about this game. I'm just trying to find the scientific study on it, but it was like, there it is, cognitive effects. It's also literally called the Tetris effect. So there you go. Yeah, it can cause the brain to involuntarily picture Tetris tiles even when the player is not playing. So there you go.
There have also been studies that Tetris can actually reduce the incidence of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Wow.
Particularly if it is, played directly after a traumatic incident because like it engages the visual part of the brain that would potentially replay intrusive memories to you in the future. Science has looked into that.
That's pretty
But
fucking
cue a
amazing,
card
isn't
called
it?
Trauma, because I'll play it every day.
Suddenly I'm like, oh, should I not have this on in the background? And I love the fact that so many other people or companies have attempted to kind of match that, magical thing that Tetris does. Like the intense level of kind of playability. We've got Candy Crush, we've had, Dr. Mario, we've had all those kind of things that are these ongoing puzzle games, but none of them are quite the same. None of them have that particular feeling of achievement and, yeah, like the sweet spot of going, fuck yeah, just got it right.
Also, don't discount the whole notion of this was one of the games that managed to help people break down the barrier between East and West. This was just post Cold War, current Cold War Soviet Russia, but it was definitely a Russian game that you could play on American American marketed devices made by the Japanese. Like in terms of a cross-cultural phenomenon, Tetris was there, and literally because it did that right thing of shipping with the Game Boy.
See, this is the stuff that I loved about this film, is learning so many of those things, because you kind of it in your memory, your heart memory of going, oh yeah, Game Boy and Tetris, they kind of go together. But I hadn't remembered specifically that it was a pack in with the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Like it was just in my mind that those two things went together. I forgot that it was actually how it was sold.
Mine came like that because I found it.
Where did you find it?
My uncle found it in a secondhand car that he bought. He was detailing it, and he was like, "Oh, do the kids want this?" And I'm like, "Give it to me."
Man,
see, we weren't allowed to
I
have
was like
Game
maybe
Boy.
12. Yeah.
Okay.
When
Yeah.
I got
You weren't
the
allowed to
brick.
have a.
No.
So what did you have, Pete?
Computer.
Oh, so you had the computer version.
She'll have books and like it.
I must have played it on the computer version, yes, because we, aside from borrowing a friend's Game Boy every so often when you're allowed to, or my cousin's Game Boy, but most of my Tetris playing was done on a keyboard.
My God.
Space bar to drop the block all the way down, arrows to move it. Yeah.
Oh.
How do you rotate it?
Left and right.
Left and right. Oh, hang on. No,
left and right moves it.
Up and down, I think.
Wait, maybe it was space bar to rotate and down to drop the block all the way down.
Or maybe K. Who knows? All I know is you could never press up to make it stop dropping.
Which, let's be honest, that's a thing for life,
No,
really,
just
isn't
one
it?
more minute.
If you could hold back the tetrominoes.
Stop calling them tetrominoes. They're just blocks. I know that's
what
their
they're
real.
called.
I know that's their real name. They all have these. But stop trying to make Tetris more than what it is. Just call it Tetris. It's all Tetris. Just a game. I don't need a backstory. I don't want to see Tetris origins.
Okay, well, shut up with all of our backstories. What do we think about the movie?
True. Good point, Jill. Well made. Also, what I thought of the movie.
Yeah, good point. Well made.
Good point. Well made. Didn't ask for this, but actually quite happy you made it.
I think it's putting it out there. I think it's a really, really solid, entertaining, well-made, thoroughly engaging film, which did the magical thing of having. So I started watching it because I knew we were going to be reviewing it, and my partner was sitting beside me, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to read my book. I'm not interested. I don't give a fuck about Tetris, whatever." And within about 20 minutes, she was kind of like, "What's okay? That's kind of interesting." And then by the end of it, you could not pry her away from it. She was like, "Holy shit, this is tense." And I'm like, "This is good. This is a good film."
Just like the earworm of the music, it gets you, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm invested now."
Yeah, I think it's definitely a part of like the political intrigue and the drama of spy organizations and wealthy business people, and the little guy, that kind of that tense face off between like three entities. It was definitely compelling viewing.
Mm. And a lot of it feels kind of almost Catch-22-esque. So in that it is that kind of ludicrousness of the political systems, especially in Russia, that you're going from one piece of bureaucracy to another piece of bureaucracy, and that will then but it's spying on spies on spies on spies, like and knowing who you can trust and who you can't trust. I think it works so well.
Yeah, I mean, see, I actually really enjoyed that this was a funny little film about a very popular game that everyone's going to say, oh, nostalgia. But it also had learning.
Yes.
Lots and lots of learning and some surprise
learnt about
cameos.
The Maxwell.
Yes.
Oh, my word.
That was one that I was like, oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
I was like, who is Robert Maxwell while I'm watching the movie? I'm like, oh.
Oh.
It was Robert Maxwell's daughter.
Oh.
No.
Right.
And yeah, like it was such an interesting story. I think what I liked most about it, and it's not very spoilery, but it's slightly, just more like when I found out the story about what they had done since the end of that narrative and the things that they had achieved after with the whole Tetris thing, I was just like, I'm so happy that they seem to be nice people and have just done nice things with the game and everything. And it's still all kind of like, it was like, oh, they succeeded. Yay, that was nice. And then I'm like, oh, they're still okay and everything's fine. And they've actually been doing cool shit since then. They've just been making cool shit. And I was like, well, that's just bloody heartwarming.
And also very heavily involved in the making of this film. So,
Sure.
There's always that little part of me that goes, okay, if you're one of the executive producers of the film, you're probably not going to be portrayed in a particularly shit light.
No. But I mean, they kept warts and all stuff on there and, bit how it all kind of was and what was going on. And that was fine. But then in the end, I was like, I wonder what those guys are doing now. And I was like, oh my God, really cool shit. Damn.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And all glory to you.
Yeah. And I like that, Hank is not portrayed as being 100%, the best person in the world. He actually is a shit husband and makes some pretty fucking questionable decisions. And you're like, yeah, okay, good, fair enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, as Karina puts it, yes, I enjoy that the villains get their comeuppance. It's a rare thing that you see that in real life stories.
They don't really get their comeuppance.
Anybody that dances with embezzlement is surely bound to get done. So yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, it's not really they get their comeuppance; they just didn't get to make money off this thing. In the end, finally. But yeah, but it's just such an interesting story because it comes from that whole like, what was Russia like in the 80s? We didn't know. I've got no frame of reference. I have no idea. And it didn't portray it as like a completely terrible place. Sure, there were some big issues with it, but it wasn't terrible. Like he wasn't having a bad time programming computers for the Russian ministry. He had a relative.
Are you sure?
I don't know that he was having a great
No.
I didn't say he was having a horrible time.
Was born in.
Yeah. He wasn't having a great life.
He was living in fucking communist Russia in the peak of the Cold War.
Yeah, but
it was a very insular country. Nobody knew what a fucking Nintendo was. I don't think anybody was having a good time.
But he had a coat. What else do you need?
He could occasionally get a potato once a week.
Yeah. Just that kind
Even
of
though
thing.
he'd then give it to the other people because he was nice.
I think that was an add-on, Quinny.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he was like, my potato. Anyway, who knows? I don't know that guy. Just making stuff up now. That's my research. Other Peter's like going, no, I've researched it. I was like, wild claims. Wild, unsubstantiated claims. There we go.
Yes.
And this week on This Definitely Happened in History with TPTOA
is what Dion making wild claims of Peter going, no, he didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
That's untrue.
Is inaccurate.
No.
and fabricated entirely. So, Alexei Pajitnov, dedicated potato hoarder.
The film Tetris. It's about potato hoarding.
He's just like arranging the potatoes in different.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They're dreaming of bricks. They're bricklayers. A bricklayer's dream. All right.
I'm gonna make a big call.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of the intense 15 minutes of exposition at the start of the film.
Okay. That's a fair call.
Yeah, of two people having a conversation and telling me about history of stuff that has just happened in their recent past.
I didn't mind the style that was created around that intense 15 minutes of exposition.
It served a purpose.
And it
also bothered me.
was necessary to understanding the plot of the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Sure.
It wasn't exposition for exposition's sake.
Yeah, and introducing the four characters or the four players, was
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
necessary to laying out the.
Like, I get that it was an 8-bit game, but I was not a fan of the 8-bit animation that was scattered throughout the movie. I just wanted a more semi-serious telling of the story rather. It felt a little bit too juvenile, and that was my opinion. I know some people might not agree with that, seeing as though this is our remit, but I just didn't work for me.
You are allowed to have your
Yeah.
opinion. That's the entire point of this show.
Especially when it came back towards the end of the film, in a scene that happened where it was jumping in and out of 8-bit animation with what was happening in real time, and I'm like, nah, not working for me.
It's funny because there were elements, and so a couple of people said, oh, they were really disappointed they didn't get to see this on a big screen because this is for Apple TV, so by definition it is always going to be on the small screen, and I actually think that probably is good for these kind of graphics because, as you say, there's a lot of interstitials that are 8-bit, pixel graphics. And I'm not sure how that would have looked on a big screen. I think it may have actually been really kind of in your face. On a small screen, you're like, oh, that's I play video games on this screen. I'm okay with that. But maybe on a big screen, I think they may have been too much. But yeah, I mean, it was a stylistic thing that, sometimes works, sometimes
it was a style
didn't.
choice for the movie. I didn't like it.
Pete, your thoughts on it?
I don't have any strong thoughts either way. I mean, the weird thing is I watched this when it first kind of dropped before we talked about reviewing it.
Dropped.
So I didn't watch it with a particularly critical eye. I just wanted to watch a movie that night. But for me, particularly that bit at the end, I feel like the use of that graphic device kind of signaled to me that maybe, obviously there are elements of this that are probably more dramatized than the historical fact of the matter, and particularly in that scene, that was kind of like a bit of a like exciting scene for the movies, but potentially not actually what really happened in real life. And I felt like the animation kind of brought it more into like that world for me than like serious historical documentary. This is exactly how it went down. So I didn't mind it in that respect. I didn't like sit there going, oh fuck, this is amazing, but it didn't annoy me.
That's fair. Yeah. There were a couple of times where I was looking at it, and you remember that movie Pixels? The real shit one.
The one that I didn't see because I saw the trailer and was like, yeah, nah.
So hang on, did you both just say you didn't watch it?
Yes.
Well done. Congratulations.
We're clever.
Yeah.
Just like Peter, but I didn't say yeah, no. I said no.
You made the right call. So there are a couple of times where that was sort of, all of these big 3D, blocks. And at one point, I'm pretty sure there's some Tetris things falling into buildings and shit in that. And there's a little part of me that was like, the decision to go 8-bit here reminded me of that, but also there were times I was like, it still felt weirdly cheap. Like if you were going to do 8-bit, you could have done sort of 8-bit 3D. I don't know. There was something about that was, yeah.
You didn't think it was an actual stylistic choice because it was literally shit graphics.
Yeah.
Like let's not push this too far. If they had made giant 3D Tetris bricks falling from the sky, everyone would have been like, "Well, that's just bullshit." Like, you just need to look behind you, Quinny. It's shit. It just had great simple gameplay that got slightly more complicated as you went along, and an earworm of a tune.
Which I guess is representative of what the film does.
Much like us in the periodic table of awesome. No, that's...
Okay. We have an earworm?
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, that's one of those things that I kind of looked at and I thought, oh yeah, I could have imagined them, instead of kind of making the image of the big buildings in Russia out of shitty 8-bit graphics, maybe make them out of in 3D, but then have the Tetris tiles fall into, I don't know.
We can't do that because every time a Tetris tile falls into place, the bottom level disappears.
Which I think would have been fucking hilarious.
What? Oh yeah, the Kremlin disappearing. That's going to go down real well.
Yeah,
with
very funny.
I feel like maybe the reason the 8-bit graphic animation maybe didn't work super well is because it doesn't feel like Tetris. Because Tetris didn't have figurative pictorial graphics that it felt like game, but it felt like very different game to me. It didn't feel Tetris-y at all. And maybe that's why I kind of felt a bit out of place.
Maybe that was it.
It felt like, I don't know, early like games like, Hugo Whodunit and that kind of thing. Like it felt like those kind of graphics to me.
Yeah, because when they're describing like the players in the story and they're giving them each like a little version of themselves in 8-bit pixels, I was like, but this is not reflective of what the Tetris graphics actually look like. This is just generic video game. And so I think that's kind of
kind of like more Commander Keeney than Tetris.
Yeah.
Oh, deep cut.
Yeah.
Had a computer, playing games on it.
Peter, you're dredging up the old magics. I think that may be an interesting, and maybe if they could have found a way to, at the beginning, instead of having the little characters, make them into the Tetris blocks or something, use the concept of Tetris and the fact that they're all falling all the way through, and then at the point where they all make a line, they're the ones who disappear, and then you're left with Alexei and
I don't think it was a fully thought out concept.
I feel like a deep analysis of this one particular thing in the film maybe indicates that we don't have a huge amount of complaints.
Exactly. It's the only fault I could find with the movie. I enjoyed everything else.
Yeah. Dion, thoughts?
I liked it. We should rate it and move on.
Okay.
Do you have somewhere to be?
It is about that time, so let's.
Sure. I mean, true.
I believe that we can get to the spoiler section, so we can spoil all of this. But
I just want to watch some more Tetris.
Yeah. Oh God!
While you're
you
rating,
keep going on. Like, well, if I could put the music in the background because you got that in there.
Okay.
There we go. I'm gonna give it 7 lines? No, 8 lines out of how many lines am I gonna do? I don't know. Look, I'm going to go 90 because I had a really good time with it. I think the film's good and the story's nice and I liked everyone behind it. So, yeah, go for Tetris. Tetris is good shit. And, a lot more action than I thought about a video game and a lot more people in there. So, yeah, well done. Well done. Good on you for Tetris. And we don't need to see another one. Like, I don't need to see the real story behind Alex Kidd in Miracle World. I don't need to understand how shit...
The true story behind Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy.
Not the Tenacious D song.
Not the Tenacious D song.
What is the power of your mucky muck?
Yeah, exactly. No, this was like the built
Now, is
Yeah.
that the first Wonder Boy or Wonder Boy in Monsterland or Wonder
No,
Boy?
the first Wonder Boy, original
Oh,
Wonder
shit.
Boy.
What-
You could not save the game; you just had to keep playing.
You just had to be good.
You just had to
Wonder
play.
Boy.
All right, I am going to rate Tetris 78. I'm not giving it a
Nice.
very high score because that graphic thing annoyed me.
Sure.
Taron Egerton cannot do a Japanese accent at all. Like his
Is he
Japanese
supposed to be?
pronunciation was
He was
very
living in
bad.
Oh,
Japan.
but I think that was the point. I think it was
Mm,
supposed to be bad.
How do you be married to a Japanese woman and have children and not speak Japanese?
I
And
could go
run
and
a
ask.
Japanese
I can
company?
You're
actually.
a white American man.
I can go and
Yeah.
ask my neighbor in the building next door. I don't think he speaks any Japanese, and he's married to a Japanese woman. They have
Yeah,
2
that's
kids.
the problem with white men, though.
Yeah.
Interestingly, he is Dutch and Indonesian. So who grew up in America. So yeah.
Who?
It's a-
Like Taron Egerton or
No.
Hank.
The character, Hank
Hank.
Rogers.
Hank sounds like
Um,
it's a mispronunciation of Hank.
I know. That's what I thought too. Okay, I'm going to jump in. I am a little more in line with Dee's thing. I fucking had a ball. I was not like, if you'd ever said to me, "Hey, you're going to watch a movie that is about the licensing of Tetris," and you are going to be riveted and you are going to be excited and care, I would have said you're drunk. But I was like, pretty on the edge of my seat towards the end, and I'm like, fuck yeah, you get what you deserve. Yeah. And I mean, I knew I was being played. I knew that was my emotions were being manipulated and twisted and before dropped in, but that's okay. I enjoyed it, and I think it's it's also a surprisingly complex and funny and smart film all the way through, and I enjoyed that about it. I agree with you, Jill. I wasn't in love with the 8-bitty stuff. There are a couple of times I just thought, I wouldn't have gone that way, but didn't really pull me out of the rest of the film, which I thought was a really, really clever thriller, for lack of a better term. So that's me. I think, did I say 90?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm saying 90.
Great.
I'm just going to say 85. I am doing that just based on feel and no real
Just-
analysis. Sorry, like I said, I watched it like without thinking that we were going to review it, so I didn't have a kind of critical hat on while I was watching it. I just I know that I watched the film. I loved Taron Egerton. I got to the end of the film and I was like, this is surprisingly engaging. But I mean, the subject matter is like, oh yeah, that's interesting, but like I don't care that much. Given that I was fairly engaged by the film all the way through.
It made me want to go out and play Tetris.
Well, I did then kind of download an iPhone version of it, but no for touchscreen Tetris for me.
Yeah, but I mean,
Doesn't-
everyone wanted that tactile feel of the Game Boy after. Like, you watch the movie
Yeah.
and you're like, I want to play Tetris.
It made me think, Mum, why didn't you let me get a Game Boy? Once again.
Yeah, I had a very similar feeling. I never had a Game Boy.
Intergenerational trauma.
Oh, no. The funny thing about that is, I think that she wanted us to like not be distracted by devices all day, and now look at us all.
I know. Her efforts were in vain.
Yeah.
In vain.
Did you find
Sorry,
that?
Mum.
Did you find that out by texting her today? I just didn't want you to do that. Laugh emoji. Huh?
Upside down smiley face.
Yep.
Oh man, I wanted a Game Boy so bad. Like I don't know why, but there's something about it that was just so fucking like, oh, need to have. Never got
Next
one.
time we hang out, I'll bring my Game Boy.
Is
Would be
what,
amazing.
what about Game Boy
Like-
Color?
Yeah, I had one of them
Oh.
too.
See,
And
I
the
skipped
camera
all
and
that,
the
I had
printer.
an Atari Lynx.
I had the Frost Game Boy Color, so it was see through and like purple.
Oh my god.
I want to see a photo of one of those Game Boys that just has every single attachment connected to it.
Oh yes.
So like, the
Game Boy
magnifying
camera?
screen and the camera and the
Mhm.
printer where you could print the
Yeah.
picture. Like, I'm gonna take a photo of you. And then it just prints one out.
Yeah,
Like,
that you took with the camera, and it was like 100 pixels by 100 pixels.
I think if you touched all those things and then just powered it up, it would just go flat in about 2 minutes. That's
Not enough double A's in the world.
the double A's in the back are like, oh no.
Actually, that was one of the sequences I really enjoyed, is where they were like, you know, introducing the concept of the Game Boy, and like there was this almost fucking holy moment of going, look at this shit, this is going to be amazing. And you know what it reminded me of? Do you ever see that movie, The Wizard?
It's so bad.
Okay, so in terms of Nintendo marketing, back in 1989, something like that, there was a movie that had Fred Savage and a bunch of others, and it was about this family or these kids that were traveling across America to get to the ultimate Nintendo championship.
This sounds familiar to me. Keep talking.
At one point in time, they get to meet this super cool kid who's like the best Nintendo gamer in America, who's the one that they're obviously going to have to beat, and he has the ultimate peripheral, which is, Dion,
the Power Glove.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Actually, shit, this sounds really familiar now.
Yeah, and then they get to the big thing, like literally holding it up and going, and he's playing it by putting his hand up and jumping, and
it was literally like it looked like you moved your hand and it didn't do shit. Like it was literally just the controller on the back of it, and it was just.
But the thing at the end, they get to the big championship, and they're all like, "Yeah, it's going to be Punch Out. I know how to do Punch Out and all these other things." There it is, 1989. I was fucking close. And then right at the end, they get there and they reveal that they're going to be playing an all new game, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh my god! And then, funnily enough, in Super Mario Brothers, the movie with John Leguizamo, they used Power Gloves and like the light cannon as the weapons that were in.
I know the Power Glove.
Oh dear! And the best thing about the Power Glove, it was all vinyl. So as soon as you put it on, especially the people who live north, you just got sweaty, and it just felt icky. Yeah. And the people who are using the controller, the people using the controller anyway would always beat you because you could never do one-handed. What you could do. But at least it had a keyboard. You suck.
Just looking back at it, it's like the cast includes Fred Savage, Christian Slater, and Beau Bridges, but the first uncredited appearance of Tobey Maguire. There you go. It is terrible, but it's still kind of a cultural artifact, and if you love things about video games, which apparently we do, go seek it out.
That was just a marketing exercise for the Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And this felt like that, you know, that reveal of the Game Boy. That's all I could think of. It was like, it's so bad.
I've never known Nintendo movies to just be marketing exercises. Anyway, should we go?
See last week's review.
Should we? You dodged a bullet there, Peter. But you're.
What?
She was there for
you were
it.
there. That's right.
No. And talked about it with you last week.
Do you not remember? She didn't want to take her young sibling, your young niece to it because
she'll make me roleplay Princess Peach.
Oh. Well, you know, all the Super Mario Legos on clearance at the moment, so go right ahead, jump into it.
That was a concept that I never understood. Like the combination of Lego and Super Mario Brothers. I'm like,
all right, let's go to a clip and come back and talk more about this in the spoilerific. Not that we can really spoiler it, but I mean, we can. We can do anything. Let's go to the clip, which will be the clip of when our erstwhile hero first discovers that the game he's trying to shill at a convention is shit. He should be shilling Tetris.
Tracy. Yeah. Tracy. What are you doing?
How's it going? Look, I just invited this young lady over to see how our new game fares with the female audience.
Uh-huh. Sure. Come on, Tracy. I'm paying you to sell my game, not play other people's.
Relax, Hank. This game's swell. What's it called?
Tetris.
Tetris. I don't get it.
It's a combination of tetra, Greek for four, all the game's pieces are variants of four, and tennis.
Tennis?
tennis. It's supposedly the Russian inventor. He likes tennis.
Here, Hank, try it.
Yes, there we go. Totally fine here. Nothing happened. It's
Look,
all
I
good.
know some people that would love to play Go on a game device.
Go.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never played it. I've never understood it. It's a lot of.
I have
It's a
some
lot of
very
dots.
nerdy friends.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, okay. What? Okay.
Oh, they're going really fast now.
What?
Yeah, I know, and he's near the top.
How
This
do
is
you
very, very
spoil?
good.
Not bad.
The big two block. Oh no!
You can do it.
Oh, he wasted a big long one.
Did. Sorry, Peter's face is just like.
Her anxiety is
tense.
just through the roof.
It's this bit of the game where I get stressed out and have to stop.
Yeah.
Yes, this is it's a little bit too much. Hang on, spoiler time. Better turn the spoiler logo on. There we go. Lots of
Gotta go
spoilers.
Isn't that what Sonic says?
Yeah. I'm all about the Sega, bitch.
Yeah, you are. See, that was the thing. I was Sega for a long time, or Sega, or whatever. And then somewhere, I don't know, it was Super Nintendo was when I switched over.
See, I never had a NES. I had the Master System.
I had a Master System and was like, oh, I love this, and I wanted a Game Gear and was totally Sega. And then the Super NES came out with Street Fighter, and I'm like, that. I want that.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you, Sega Master System.
Yeah.
But didn't the Master System have its own great fighting games? Didn't it have that one where you could turn into animals?
Altered Beast.
Altered Beasts, isn't that? Then you could turn
Mine
into a
came
werewolf.
with a plug-in gun and with Duck Hunt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The classic games of the 8-bit 80s.
Yeah. And I won't be caring for my mother when she gets old because she threw out my Master System.
What?
Well, I'm just like, wow, okay, so the AI revolution happened years ago for Jill.
It's going on her headstone. Threw out her daughter's Master System.
See, now I understand your thing with Alex Kidd and Wonder Boy and everything. I was like, oh, okay, right.
Yeah, can't get that back.
No, actually, one of my sorry, totally distracted, but one of my favorite games on the Switch is a beautiful HD remake of Wonder Boy 3, Wonder Boy in Monster
Look,
Land.
I did download Wonder Boy for the Switch, which is great, reliving the childhood. But I want the plastic back.
Yeah, you need the plastic crack. Okay, talk about spoilers.
Wow, Russia's fucked.
Is that news to anybody?
No, but I mean, it seemed just like this whole thing about, wow, Russia is really corrupt and they just take things away and go. And it's like, everyone's like, yeah, we know that. But like, they wouldn't be doing that still, would they? I kind of like how they like, what's Russia now known for, like, the most is either like, I mean, apart from invasion, hacking or Tetris. Like, that seems to be their only two things. And the Kalashnikov. Maybe there's another one you could throw in there. Like, what do Russians do? They do guns, Tetris, and now hacking.
And homophobia.
Oh, yeah, massive. big fans of that over there. Yeah.
It's interesting when you look back into the 80s and you look at the company that they're working for and go, is this, kind of the predecessor to some of the the Russian hacking, huge, like the efforts that are made? Because
it was definitely had farm vibes.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of thing too. The amazing idea, watching it and you're like, they don't know, like in that sort of era, they didn't know what they were doing or the amount of impact they were actually having because they were so insulated by the government. And it's like, hey, by the way, your game is phenomenally wild out there in the world and everyone is playing it and everyone wants to play it. And it's just like, is it? wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And it's worth how much? What?
Yeah. And people are getting money for my
Actually,
game?
and that's some of the stuff I really enjoyed was the kind of backwards and forwards of the Russian sort of people working out how much they were being fucked and by who.
I did like that scene of the guy that, ran Elog that was like going back and forth between the rooms and had everybody in their own separate meetings and was like, okay, that guy wants this, that guy wants this, and like going back and forth.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, I'm going to change the wording on this particular contract because fuck you. You assumed the concept of what a computer would also incorporate game systems. So I'm going to change your contract, but I'm not going to tell you I'm changing that contract. And I'm going to go to this guy, and then and that's the stuff that I sort of had that catch-22 thing of like, it's almost ridiculous the bureaucracy and how you could get around that. I liked that bit.
I thought it was.
Karina pointed out the soundtrack, and I do have to say, both versions of I Need a Hero, the Japanese and the Russian, were both bangers. I also
True.
quite enjoyed the end credits song with the Pep Shop Boys mashup with the Tetris theme.
Yeah.
The amount of times that you can reference the Tetris theme throughout this and still make it work as a theme is impressive.
Yeah.
Like I just kept on hearing it coming back, and I was like an old friend.
Yeah. It was quite fun. And also, getting around there going, look, people in Russia still knew how to party. They still knew how to, get around and like handle that under that oppressive regime. But yeah, I was going to say, I also liked how it's kind of a good instructional for anyone who thinks that they have something that someone may want to buy. This is a great film to watch to be like, no, it's worth more.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that kind of thing because someone will be like, yeah, I'm going to give you, 15 grand. What is it? Isn't that the starting price that they tried to buy it from the Russian government? Didn't that guy was like, I have the rights for this. It's $15,000 US dollars. And they're like, oh, that's a lot of money. And then go up to by the end, it's like 1.2 million.
Plus $1 of every unit sold.
Yeah.
Which
I think it got up to like a $5 million deal.
Yeah. Because it was just like, we're going to make the money, just shut up.
And it's interesting because this is like, it's happening at a really interesting time in Russia as well. Like this is just before essentially the fall of communist Russia. So Gorbachev is in the throes of trying to get perestroika being a thing, and the people are becoming super aware of the rest of the world. Like, and they know that shit's not what they've been told. So it's interesting that in a way they're kind of saying that Tetris is actually kind of a symbol of the fall of that communist belief system, because this is the first time that communism and capitalism have kind of done a deal in a way, which I think is a really interesting kind of thing that they're trying to say. And then there's a dopey car chase.
That pissed me off that it was jumping between pixels and cars. And I'm like, guys, this is a serious moment.
Didn't work for you then, Jill?
No.
Who'd have thought you got so invested in the story behind Tetris? It's just a game.
Not even buying licensing. That's the thing that got me.
I mean, I kind of really hoped that at one point they would have just been driving down a freeway and they would have all been lining up. And as soon as all the cars stopped, a semi just comes from the side and wipes out a whole row, and then they can escape. And I would have just been kind of like, yes.
Yeah. That I would have appreciated more.
Right.
That's the Michael Bay.
I do know what you mean,
remake.
though, Jill, because in that car chase sequence, there was a point where I was like, oh shit, I am involved in the drama here. Like, I want them to escape. I'm really concerned for their well-being. You know, this is Howard Lincoln, the fucking one of the big wigs of Nintendo. I remember people talking about Howard Lincoln in the 90s. And you know, you're like, oh shit, this is really tense. And then that moment where it suddenly turns into the game, I did kind of go, huh?
It wasn't even Tetris. It felt more like Frogger.
That's not. Yeah, I kind of got the Frogger reference from it. But yeah, I mean, that kind of, in my mind, I don't know how it actually went down, but that kind of signaled to me that, like, yeah, maybe we're getting a bit silly for the drama now, but now we're going to have a car chase. They possibly didn't escape in an actual car chase.
It did make me want to read the book though, because I think there are moments of being like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. And I'd like to know whether or not how much of it's true anyway.
There is a book?
Yeah, I believe so. There's always a book somewhere.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things that were kind of what you would consider spoilery. I was amazed at how much I gave a fuck about the handheld rights. Like, no, if you'd ever said to me, Quinny, you're going to really be very invested in the handheld rights to a video game, I'd be like, what?
But it's all going to turn out okay.
Because in the end, you just want them to succeed because you want them to bring Tetris to the world, even though you know that they did and they did succeed, and there is no sort of thing. It's just the how. Like, how close did they come to like not being able to do that at all? How close did they come to getting shot against a wall? Very fucking close.
Yeah.
Kind of very.
Or having the kids thrown out of a window or something like that.
Yeah, something terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, I still think it just had that right amount of like the whole thing. Russia is just malevolent. That's the kind of overbearing nature. It's not the particular individuals I think are scary. It's just that whole situation of trying to get in there to get something out of it. I love that it was just an agreement on paper.
Yeah. Faxed.
Yeah, a faxed agreement is
How
fine.
much faxing going on in this movie?
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, welcome to Japan. They still fax. Still have to fax things through. Fax it to me. No thanks. Anyway.
And one of the characters that we haven't actually mentioned that much. So there are sort of four key players, I guess. There's Hank, there's Toby Jones's character that I can't remember his fucking name, so he's just Toby Jones. There's the Maxwells, Kevin and Robert. I gotta say,
that's Mr. Maxwell to you.
Sorry.
Oh, fucking turd.
God, what a fucking god-awful group of people they are. And I did a little bit of reading as to what happened to Robert Maxwell at the end after this. Like their fortune was all but fucked.
He did a Harold Holt.
Yep. Now there's Mr. Stein. Thank you, Karina. There are some questions as to whether or not Maxwell killed himself or whether he just got drunk and fell off his boat. But basically, who gives a fuck? The motherfucker's dead.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, because his paper fortune was eventually bought by Rupert Murdoch, so all good.
Yeah.
Welcome to the next interesting story. Which is like, oh.
And what was the name of his boat that he fell off?
Lady Ghislaine.
Yeah. And the name of his daughter?
Anyway, I was having such a nice time not thinking about that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
great family.
Yeah.
Wonderful family.
Yeah, when you're watching it, you're sort of thinking, God, they're real scum. They're really shit humans. And then you do a little bit more reading, you're like, oh no, it's a empire of shit humans. Great. Yeah.
Great.
And it's interesting that like the people from Nintendo and everything are all presented very, very nicely. They're very honorable and they all pay their bills and yes, very, very taken very seriously.
Yes.
Funny that.
Speaking of funny,
so what else should we look into the marketing of next? And the the one thing I did have to say, there's another film out at the moment called Air.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's where you were going with it. I was like, where are you going with this, Quinny?
No, there is a film called Air that is about the fucking licensing of a shoe.
Look, I'll watch it. I'm not going to pay money at the cinema, though. I'll wait for streaming. It's definitely just a streaming film. But,
Sure.
I mean, it's not until you put a trailer out that I'm like, I never thought about it, but I'm interested.
Really? Because I was riotously uninterested in that. Admittedly, I didn't think I'd be interested in, the licensing of Tetris, but,
Look, did
Turns out
you
I
ever
was.
think, like, years ago, did you ever think that in the world that we currently live in, that we were going to get a Sonic the Hedgehog movies and 2 sequels and a TV spin-off?
Before
you-
we got a fucking Mario movie.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Sonic 3. I want to see what terrible things the humans are doing this time.
I want
How
them to
many
have.
is it going to be another beach wedding with like completely inappropriate action moments?
That fucking bit out of Sonic 2 was deeply weird.
It was. It
Like,
truly was.
Super, super fucking weird.
which was the one that we saw, which was about the tunes and it had the ugly Sonic at the convention? What was that movie that we...
That was
Chip and
it's
Dale
Chip and
Rescue
Dale.
Rangers.
Rescue
That was
Rangers.
so good.
Yeah, and I was like, when's the next Chip and Dale movie? Visiting all of those things.
Yeah, I don't know that we
Oh,
need another
dear.
one of those. That was creepy and weird enough.
Yes, thank you for the reminder, Peta Kanga. Yes, we're doing Shrinking next week. Another Apple TV show. Get onto that. Better go watch some of that. Go watch Harrison Ford be hangry. And people, yeah, like it's a nice show. I like it. It was good.
We're probably not going to be reviewing it on a podcast that I'm aware of, but Evil Dead Rise.
Well, we haven't scheduled in. It could be the
Oh.
first one of the next month because that's very close.
So the
Mm.
question is, Dion, do you want to watch it? And Peter, you're going to be taking some time off.
Well, my question actually goes to Jill and Quinny, who got to see it already. You bastards. Considering that I am an aficionado of the Evil Dead franchise, should I watch the new Evil Dead one?
You will get a kick out of it. I have not watched the Evil Dead franchise, but all of the key moments throughout it that I am aware of osmosically, if that's a word.
Osmotically?
Sure. I picked up in the film.
Right.
So-
Is there a Necronomicon?
Yes.
Are there Deadites?
My word.
Is there someone who says groovy?
No.
Well, fuck that. I'm not going to see it. Not reviewing that shit. That's terrible. There needs to be at least one person going groovy.
There's a chainsaw in it.
Does that chainsaw go groovy? No?
Probably.
Great.
Oh,
Okay, fine.
If you wanted to.
Sure. I mean, like, whatever. I mean, there's
Do you
just...
speak fluent chainsaw?
Clato. Parada.
Yeah, so like if you want us to review it, let us know.
Sure. We always take submissions. Well, we've got a whole month next month that we haven't even thought of. We have a secret list we haven't shared with you yet. But if you want us to review something, tell us.
Secret to us as well.
Yeah.
Our secret is crime. No, Guardians of the Galaxy is coming up, isn't that's the next big ticket tentpole
On
item.
May the 4th.
Oh, what were they thinking?
How dare they?
I know, my religious holiday.
It is. Your day
we're
of
gonna-
observance.
And we've got a very big week this week in terms of TV. We have the finale of The Mandalorian and the finale
Picard.
of Picard.
I'm 4 episodes
Yo.
behind, and I know that we have a spoiler group, and I can't avoid fucking
Oh,
notifications. But I want to watch Picard.
Yes.
Can we get in there?
Yes, do.
Last week's episode was.
Did any...
I'm sitting on the couch with a cup of tea. I'm like, oh, go on, you bastards. Do it. Go
Yeah.
on. Show it to me.
Yes. Good point.
And they did, and I
And they
cried.
bloody did it.
Good point, Karina. We also have Ted Lasso. That's going to be wrapping
Oh.
up
Need
soon.
to do a big catch up.
I keep watching Ted Lasso, and I'm just like, I can't do it. Just make me happy. I don't need to feel emotions. I just want to be happy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this season of Ted Lasso, but there always is. Yes, a couple of people are talking about Hello Tomorrow.
Yes, I've been watching that one.
I've tried and it hasn't quite latched me. I've been like, yeah, I want to really like it for the style and everything, but the story hasn't hooked me quite right.
What about Schmigadoon or Schmicago?
Well, that is something that we haven't spoken about at all because we were going to talk about musicals at one point and then we just didn't. But I would love to talk about Schmicago
Yep.
and its predecessor, Schmigadoon.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah.
I need to watch Chicago.
And we've got we've also got Renfield too. That's coming out.
Sometime
So,
in May.
Yeah. That's coming too. So yeah, we've got
Though it's
things.
out in America right now, and has been losing to the Mario Brothers movie. Go figure. But then again, I think everything's been losing to the Mario Brothers movie.
Unless it's Avatar, The Way of the Water. Fuck. Anyway, I'm still grumpy about the movie. Yeah. So a quick thing then. Impressions, Jill, Quinny. Evil Dead Rise. Good, bad, indifferent.
Oh, I quite enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yes, as a person who likes horror films, it was definitely scary.
Peter, high on your list to go see.
I mean, no, but if you guys make me,
Oh, honey. Pete,
I have voluntarily watched that one Evil Dead film that time we were doing Arthurian Legends during lockdown.
Don't forget, Peter, your birthday's coming up, so special ticket for you.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, that's the cruelest thing you could do to somebody
that's right.
who doesn't like horror.
We're going to gold class.
Jesus. I will say it is a very tight, taut film. There's fucking zero fat on it.
Oh, good.
It's like super, well thought out, small location, small cast.
Yeah.
But big
Excellent.
fucking horror.
Excellent payoffs. And very definitely gory. Yeah.
So much gore.
Like I said in my intro for the film last night, they used 6,500 liters of fake blood in this movie, and you saw every drop. It was bloody beautiful.
It was quite good fake blood too.
Yeah.
And Peter's just like, no.
Peter, you know that bit in The Shining where the elevator opens up and all the blood gushes out?
Oh yeah, but that's not scary.
Oh, this will put hairs on your chest.
All right, I'll consider it.
Okay.
I'll take it under consideration.
Oh, and in the chat, they're also mentioning that the Fast and the Furious.
Fast 10.
Fast 10 your seatbelts.
Oh.
Oh, I missed an opportunity. Damn it.
Oh,
they all did. And I'm very disappointed in them.
Yes. Jesus. All right. Well, thanks for everyone who came along and in the chat. Thank you. You're always wonderful. The chat is always good. You keep us honest.
We love
You're
the
best
chat.
people.
Yes. And we're gonna come back next week. Go watch your shrinking. Get some therapy.
Yeah. I suppose I better do that. And I don't know. Look, because we have been talking about Evil Dead. We'll go and.
I thought you were going to say we were going to raid someone playing Tetris.
Fuck, I wish we could.
We'll just watch your screensaver behind you for the rest of the.
Okay. Yeah. Let's raid Quinny. Yeah. Screensaver plays.
Just raid Quinny. There he is.
There he goes.
There he goes.
Yeah. So we'll go on raid Hex. She's playing Demonologist.
Okay.
Well, that's halfway. That's a segue. We've made worse segues.
We have. My word, we have.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Everybody.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. See, powered girl, keep staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys